Hi, I'm Lily Hardy and this is my presentation for my FMP based on the Duchess film. So to start off my project, I started researching into the Duchess film, which is a film adaptation of Amanda Foreman's New York Times bestseller, Georgiana, Duchess of Devonshire. I researched about Georgiana Spencer Cavendish and her story, as well as facts from the film. I then displayed a double-page mood board in my sketchbook using images I took from the film after I watched it, as well as including a summary of the film and Georgiana's story and any other facts from her life and the film, such as the fact that there are 27 dresses displayed in the film that Keira Knightley wears. From the 25th of May to the 15th of September, Cannon Hall are showcasing an exhibition which includes costumes from 9 different historical films, which all are literary adaptations. The Duchess by Amanda Foreman is also one of the films. I decided to base my project on this exhibition mainly for a customer aspect. This then led me to make a customer profile board from this, which included Cannon Hall, the Duchess film, the exhibition poster posted by Cannon Hall, as well as many other exhibition inspiration images. This then led me to create a mood board in my sketchbook, which was all about Cannon Hall, as I thought it would be another great source of inspiration for my project. And there are many inspirational images and artifacts at Cannon Hall which are really detailed and really interesting. After visiting Cannon Hall, I did pick up some leaflets and added them into my sketchbook just to help create that 3D effect. To help me with my inspiration for this project, I researched into fashion from the 1770s, as well as up to the 1780s, which is the era of the Duchess film. I did also research into other fashion from the full 1700s because a lot of the styles overlapped into 1770s and afterwards, just to give it a good wide range and variety of styles that I could look into. These styles included the robe de cour, robe and chemise, the round gown, the English gown, robe à la française, the redingote, and many more that I displayed onto a double-page mood board. I also included some fabric samples which were inspired based on fabrics that would have been found in the 1770s. It was mainly the colours of the garments, colours of the fabrics that you can find in the 1770s. They were all quite dulled down because they dyed it with natural resources, and they used a lot of satins, silks, cottons and linens, so I used what I could find on my sketchbook. I also researched into many undergarments from that era, such as a shift, panniers, crinolines and stomachers, and many other undergarments including the corset. A lot of my research was from books, so a lot of images can be seen on here are all copies or pages from books that I read and took my inspiration from. I also visited the Victorian and Albert Museum, which was really interesting and included some facts and images from there as well. I began developing my primary imagery from Cannon Hall and from the Duchess film. I started off with taking 3 random dresses that Georgina wears in the film, well, Keira Knightley wears in the Duchess film, and created samples based off them, as well as illustrating those dresses to begin understanding how to best illustrate those certain styles so they are period correct. The imagery from Cannon Hall include all the boat artefacts and images, as well as the stained glass which can be found on cupboard doors and the glassware in the museum. I also created quite a few 3D flowers based on some of the floral pottery which can be found at Cannon Hall. I used Pinterest to help me with this, as I've never made 3D flowers before, and I decided to create a few different flowers as well as ways of making each flower. So with the roses, I tried 4 different ways with doing them, and they all came out looking slightly different. So then I could then see how, if I wanted to use them for my designs on my final garment, then I could decide how I would best use one of the flowers. I decided to continue looking into all of Georgina's dresses that Keira Knightley wears in the film. I just wanted a better understanding of all the period correct styles and just create some colour palettes. She does wear 27 dresses in total in the film, so I randomly picked another 5 to look into. I created a colour palette from each of those dresses, as well as an illustration for each of those. I also created 2 samples based off them. A lot of the dresses have ruffles on them, so I wanted to create a very full ruffle sample, which is shown in the bottom of my sketchbook page. She also wears a lot of feathers on her dresses, and I wanted to try and make one out of a strip of cotton, and all this is displayed on a double page in my sketchbook. Chatsworth House and Gardens is one of the many places Georgina lived and travelled to, and it's probably one of the main ones that she visited to the most. I visited Chatsworth on a lovely sunny day and collected lots of primary imagery and began researching into the house to help get an understanding and a backstory of the house. This then became another source of inspiration for me, as I then went on to create 2 different print ideas based off some of the imagery from Chatsworth. I displayed this on a double page mood board in my sketchbook. I then went on to create some print designs based off my imagery development from Cannon Hall and the Duchess film, as well as the print ideas I created from Chatsworth. My favourite print has been the boat print, based off the many boat artefacts at Cannon Hall. I then went on to create a sample using this print, recreating another diamond pleated fabric sample which I tried out at the start of my imagery development. This was because I really liked this technique and I wanted to see how I would create these designs onto fabric. I then began illustrating and creating my initial garment designs. I created 23 in total, and these shown on the slide are just some of them. I decided to illustrate dress styles from the 18th century, so my designs would be period correct, but I did add my own personal touches to them and changes, such as adding some of my prints, any extra layers or taking any layers off, including different styled draped fabrics, continuing to make sure that I kept the styles historically correct. I did try and illustrate at least 2 of each different styles, such as 2 robe de corps, 2 chemise à la reine, as well as some of the redingotes and many of the other styles that I researched into. I then went on to choose 8 of my favourite designs out of the 23 that I illustrated. I went on to create specification drawings of each of these 8, including a front and a back, and finalised any little details such as the sleeves and any ruffles on them. I then chose one of these which I would make into a garment and began my process from there. Choosing the colours and mediums for my designs were the next steps of my process. That also included choosing the colours for my chosen design to be made into a garment. I created a colour palette from my imagery development from Cannon Hall, as well as the colours seen and worn in the film, making sure that my colour palette was historically correct, meaning I couldn't have any vibrant colours. I used a range of mediums to help me with my experimentation, just so I could know what was best for the look and the application for my final designs. This included watercolour, coloured pencil, ink, pastels, collaging and pro markers. I also experimented with 2 at the same time on different designs, such as merging pro markers and coloured pencils to see if I could create that realistic effect. I experimented with some faces and figures for when I complete my final illustrations. I started off with illustrating a few faces of Keira Knightley as Georgiana, creating a grayscale pencil illustration and a couple of watercolour sketches. I also had an idea based off exhibition to draw out some simple patterned mannequins using copies of my print and any inspirational magazine pages that matched my prints that I could find. I did end up deciding to use the mannequins, as it then didn't feel as if I was trying to copy the film, and it had my own personal element to it, and it just felt more as if it was for an exhibition. My garment construction was a long process, but I did meet my deadline as to when I wanted to complete it by. My chosen design is a 3-piece garment consisting of a tailcoat, foundation garment and a floor-length skirt. I created toiles for each of the components, creating 2 toiles for my tailcoat and 2 for my foundation garment, as I wanted to get the fit of the component correct to make sure it fit perfect. And then collected samples of the potential fabrics I could use for my garment, which included different satins and silks. The fabrics I chose in the end included a navy blue, Duchess satin, duck egg, Duchess satin, ivory, Duchess satin and an ivory silk. My boat print design has been printed onto my tailcoat using a digital fabric printer. Many samples were created first to make sure I had it correct before I created my final print for my garment. The back of my tailcoat has a diamond pleated panel which I hand pleated myself. This took quite a few hours, and I have added a pearl bead onto every pleat to just add to the look of the garment, and beads were used in a lot of the 18th century garments, so I thought it added another historical touch to it. All buttons on my garment were also handmade, as I wanted them to match my garment and the fabric, and just wanted to make sure the entire garment matched and flowed perfectly. The full garment construction method is added in a link on the bottom of the screen. Here I have photos of my finished garment, which is tailored to fit me, as I wanted to be the one wearing it for my photo shoot, and I displayed it on my own mannequin for these photos. I then went on to create my photo shoot board to show where I wanted to have my photo shoot, which was Cannon Hall, based on the exhibition, and Nossal Priory, as I really liked the scenery and the house. I also included some different poses that I wanted to try, such as stairs inspired by the stairs at Nossal Priory. I've also included the hair and the makeup and any accessories I wanted to use. Here I have just some of the photos from my photo shoot. I waited till it was a really nice sunny day for the photo shoot, as I wanted it to really bring out the colours, which it did, which I'm very, very pleased about. I took them at Cannon Hall and at Nossal Priory, and the hair and makeup was all done by myself, including a curly hair piece that I bought to match my hair colour and to make it look really historical and from the era. I wore some white boots to match my garment and the era of the film, as well as buying some feathers, some fake feathers to wear in my hair, which also matched the foundation garment of my gown. And this was all just to really finalise the look of how I wanted it to look for my photo shoot. Here I have my 8 design boards, which also include my chosen garment design. Each board contains a front and a back specification drawing of each design, and they have each been displayed onto a patterned 2D mannequin and displayed onto A3 boards. Thank you for watching my presentation. I have added links to my blog, which show my process and annotations of all the steps to my project, my YouTube, where you can find the full video of this unit sketchbook, my press release summarising and talking about this collection, my full garment construction method again, and my garment description. I've also included my action plan, which is how I planned out what to do each day and each week to make sure I was on target and managing my time management. I've also included my self-evaluation, which talks about how I have done over the FMP and the full 2 years. Thank you.